So accidentally, we built a bridge to electricity hardware.
Welcome back to the DePIN State. I'm your host, Nick Hawks. This is sponsored by Goldhawks, one of the most experienced DePIN consultancies in the space. We have Ruchir on from ReNRG today. Super excited to talk to him about what's going on and how we are energizing DePIN. Ruchir, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I am psyched. I should probably say that you should like, subscribe, smash the bell, all those things. This is YouTube, so you kind of have to do that, but I'm actually more interested in what you're doing. Let's start off by walking me through kind of how did you get to where you are now? You're the founder now, but kind of what was the background and history that led you up to this?
It's a long story, as my
Sure.
life is, but I'll try to compress it. I'm a programmer. Accidentally stumbled into crypto in 2013. I've been part-time crypto investing for a long time.
Okay.
In parallel, I built a digital agency, exited that, had a few angel investments and active businesses. I exited those too. The last exit, I was talking to my now business partner, Matthew, who used to run $1 billion in oil rigs. He sold that to 𝐾𝐞𝐏𝐈𝐍. We were trying to figure out what next, and we were thinking about virtual grids on crypto.
Okay.
For a range of reasons, that became a solar financing business where we finance solar in emerging markets. And in the last 2 years, we financed about $15 million of solar. That's led us to ReNRG, where we're bringing our original vision back of building virtual grids, but from a global south perspective, where we really have an impact in driving more renewable energy assets on chain, as well as building an electricity protocol.
Interesting. So there's I don't know if you're familiar with Anode Labs. Jason had kind of gotten into the same thing through almost the same path, this solar energy piece that seems like maybe a typical path. I mean, there's not that many energy companies out there, but a lot of them are following that to DePIN. Okay, so that puts you into ReNRG. You founded it with a partner. There's two of you.
That's right.
Cool.
There's my I have a few people on that cap table because that's now a proper solar platform in emerging markets, and ReNRG is a subsidiary where we're basically building out the crypto part of it.
Okay, cool. So it's neat. I can see all right, you've already had success in your life. You know how to build a business, you know what's going on. You see DePIN. What was it about DePIN that was like, oh, this is a great fit for what I know about on the energy side, on the solar side?
I think one of the challenges in financing solar in our markets is being able to monitor them. And we specialize in what we say are small or medium solar plants. So to monitor these on day one, we can't have people there. So we build our own hardware and we build software around automating processes. Simple things like billing automatically, following up, having a list of issues per asset because you want to manage it well and so on. But to do this, the device that we built had to plug into all these walled gardens because these electrical endpoints, if you will, are not they don't communicate with each other. They just transmit voltage and that's it. So accidentally, we built a bridge to electricity hardware. And it made sense for us for the next phase of growth to build an electricity protocol because it would simplify a lot of things, build applications basically that would make our life easier in managing these assets. So while we were doing that anyway, we got excited about this idea of building a solar DePIN where we basically allow you, Nick, to buy panels with us, and we would give you NRG tokens representing the electricity generated. And there's a lot of possibilities around where that goes, like, for example, you paying your utility bill without checking or opening the website, or more complex stuff where you can interact with the grid where you make money basically without having to lift a finger. So that's our vision, and we've sort of now putting that in action, and we have the assets, we have the hardware, and now we're sort of building a first application on it.
Got it. Okay, so walk me through as a normal user. Let's say I'm a homeowner here in San Diego, California, and I want to participate. Do I end up buying solar panels and telling you about it? Do I buy them through you? How does that whole part work?
Yeah, so you buy them through us. We have a range of, I mean, we're the beachhead, we have our own assets, but the idea is to bring other asset owners onto the platform. The assets we have somebody paying fiat to use that energy. And we're basically going to convert that fiat and bring it on chain into energy. So effectively, you buy a panel with us, and we'll give you energy in return. And there's a bunch of things you can do with the energy, ranging from, like I said, paying for your utility, but it's really what we're really building is a network token for the electricity protocol.
Got it. Okay, so I'm missing something here. Is I'm thinking, let's say I put whatever 1 or 10 or 20 panels on my roof. How do you have a customer buying that energy here in San Diego?
My apologies. So you're buying a panel with us, and that means I may put that panel on the rooftop of a business somewhere in the world. And
okay, so I'm not putting it on my roof. Okay.
No, you're not. And the idea is to enable folks like, say, if you live in an apartment, someone lives in an apartment, it's for them to be able to buy clean energy, and they're effectively having an impact by financing effectively solar in a place that needs it. There's somebody on the ground paying for that energy, and you're getting the token equivalent for it.
Got it. So this is kind of like what is it? Accrual accounting in accounting. Like the energy I'm producing is not, those electrons aren't actually going through my system. They're just going through some system somewhere in the world, and I'm responsible for making sure that those electrons are coming from clean sources.
And that happens even on your grid. So for example, there is a really successful Web2 business called 𝐾𝐞𝐏𝐈𝐍, and you can buy power in your state from 𝐾𝐞𝐏. But practically, what actually happens is they're just metering the amount consumed and metering the amount produced and matching that on your bill. There's not actual physical tracking of energy. It's not possible. So the physics doesn't allow it anyway, and we're basically just doing that over the internet by giving you the economic and the environmental value of it.
Okay, cool. So I'm putting in fiat, and then I'm getting out a stream of tokens that I can do whatever I want with. I can use those to pay my bill. I can convert those, etc. Okay. Now, can I take the panels that are currently on my house? I think we signed up with some solar company years ago. They've been pushing out electricity, and add them to your network, or is that something that is on the roadmap or not yet?
Like, we would love to, and the intention is to give you rewards for participating in the clean economy. But the underlying economics have to make sense. So for sure, as we build out the network, we'll sort of flesh that out too. Ultimately, our dream is to build an intelligence layer on top of electricity to automate a range of things that you do with electricity. And so that's where this is really going, and that will involve sort of bringing your home, the electricity parts of your home, on chain.
Got it. Interesting. And then how is this different than you said 𝐾𝐞𝐏 is? If they're doing the same thing, why do you need a DePIN to do this?
I think 𝐾𝐞𝐏 has sort of designed the whole thing geographically, locally, and we're basically doing it over the internet. So we're not limited by where you are or what the asset owner is. So we're truly building a virtual grid that's sort of distributed, and we're prioritizing distributed assets because that has the biggest gap in terms of financing, especially in the global south.
Got it. And then does this kind of thing have network effects? If you start getting bigger and bigger, does it get like massively more valuable?
That's right. So 2 parts to it. One is assets and consumers attract more assets and consumers. And we've seen that in the real business where you see a solar panel on the rooftop and you're like, hey, I want it. And you call the person to buy it. So solar does have network effects, and we have the same benefits. But the other part of it is why we use this as the first application is a protocol is useless without the network where the protocol is used. So the simple thing that happens here is when people are buying panels, we bring more assets on chain. We're actually planting our gateway and building this interface with all of these electricity hardware with our crypto SDK. And the idea is the more gateways and more SDK we have, we can actually meaningfully build applications that interact locally on grids. So the dream here is to have enough interfaces out in the real world that allow us then to build all these neat applications on top.
Okay. So I can see it from my side. I buy the panel. It gets installed somewhere in the world. Doesn't matter to me where it gets installed. I get tokens as a stream for that. That seems pretty straightforward. on the other side, I guess a building owner comes to you and they say, "Hey, we want solar panels. Can you put them in?" You're like, "Yeah, we got this dude who will buy them for you." And we'll, I guess, lock in your electricity price. Like, what's the draw for them to work with you?
Right. So there is this common way of financing renewable energy called power purchase agreements. And
Yep.
basically, a business signs this agreement saying, "Hey, I will buy power from this renewable energy source for the next 10 years."
Yep.
And that sets a rate for them. It normally saves money. There is no point in doing this agreement unless it saves that business money.
Sure.
So almost all the time it saves them money, or at least you set the rate at which it saves them money, and in return you're generating a yield. So there is a financial component of it, but we really want to focus on the electricity component of it, which sort of benefits long term. It basically creates all of these other benefits that come from it. Short term, it'll look like a yield. Long term, it'll look like an electricity application.
Okay, and I guess that's the other part that I missed at the beginning, or I'm still wrapping my head around, is that when you're deploying these solar panels, you're not just deploying solar panels, you're deploying the panels with this hardware. So you're basically deploying a kind of smart electricity layer that may not be able to be fully utilized yet because you need a ton of them for it to actually work. What kind of stuff will that do? Will that know like when the boiler turns on or when the heater is on, and then eventually say, "Hey, you looks like you have a kind of leakage in your energy. Check this out." Or what else? What else will that do?
I'll give you three examples. The
Yep.
simplest one is because you have a panel with a device, it'll automatically adjust your electricity payments with the utility. A more complex example is I have a friend who's currently deploying a charging network in Kenya. And they have to make this charging network compatible with 8 different OEMs. And it's going to take him 9 or 10 months to make that compatibility happen. If we could have an intelligence layer, an API, an SDK, if you will, we could get him off the ground on 2 or 3 weeks. The famous example of Tesla power walls in California, where you can charge your batteries when
Yep.
the supply is high, and you discharge them when the demand is high. So there are all these opportunities, and if you have a programmable layer on top of electricity, you can make all of these things real, which currently is limited to which meter you use or which battery you use. It's not universal.
Oh, cool. I remember, yeah, because I remember a while ago I was looking at these like fancy meters that I could put on my house for like $5,000 that would tell me all kinds of things. And what I'm hearing is that if I end up using your system, or anyone using your system gets basically access to the same kind of thing, where I think this thing was down to the circuit level, and then from there it would use, of course, AI for everything.
I think obviously it's very sexy to talk about AI because that's where we are in the moment in time in the world. But ultimately, if you enable that access, you can automate a bunch of these things. So AI or not, agents or not, but you can basically build hopefully a more efficient grid that sort of brings more clean energy online, because grid infrastructure is really meaningfully outdated, and rightly, because it was built to be reliable, but now we can adapt and make it technologically enabled, but that hasn't happened meaningfully yet.
Yeah. No, I think there's no way for infrastructure to keep up just because things are moving so fast right now. So it's super cool to see companies like yours come along and say, "Okay, let's build this thing in that basically acts as not only a bridge for the information, but a bridge between the past and the future. Like, we know this is going to happen. Let's make sure we're ready for it when it comes." Very, very cool. Okay, where's the best place for people to find you? It's pretty easy.
ReNRG.io, that's our website, ReNRG.io. For social media, it's ReNRG, ReNRG_official. Please follow us. We're announcing a bunch of things at the moment. We're moving relatively fast, so I'm excited, for you to see what we come up with.
Yeah, I'm super psyched to see more DePIN projects come into the energy space. I think it's this really nice combination of like, hey, it's good for the world. It's a really cool use of this new business model. And it makes the whole kind of system much better for everyone. So yeah, Ruchir, thanks so much for coming on and making the time to explain this to us. I know you're busy as a founder. Really appreciate you making the time.
Thank you so much for having me, Nick. I really appreciate it.